The Celts knew. They had an understanding that went beyond the physical world. They understood the rhythm of the year, the ebb and flow of life and death. Samhain, they called it. It was a time of transition, a moment when the natural and supernatural worlds intertwined. The end of summer, the start of the dark half. October 31st, a night when the boundary between the living and the dead was at its thinnest. The day when the veil between worlds thinned almost to transparency. It was a mystical time filled with both wonder and trepidation.
Imagine, if you will, those ancient people. They gathered together seeking comfort and protection in numbers, huddled around flickering fires as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, disquieting shadows. The firelight was their shield against the encroaching darkness. They weren't afraid of the dark, not exactly. They respected it, knowing it held secrets and ancient powers. They feared what lurked within it, the unknown entities that might emerge when the veil was thin.
On Samhain, the barrier between our world and the other world weakened. It was a time when the ordinary laws of nature were suspended. Spirits, good and bad, could cross over. The air was thick with the presence of the unseen. The restless dead, hungry for a taste of life, might walk among us. They sought warmth, light, and perhaps a connection to the living.
A chill wind whispers through the trees. Can you hear it? It carries the voices of the past, the echoes of those who have crossed over, the rustle of leaves, or something else stirring in the twilight. The night is alive with possibilities, and the veil is thin.
The Celts sought to appease these spirits, believing that the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest during this time of year. Offerings of food and drink were left out in the darkness, meant to nourish and placate the wandering souls. Bonfires blazed, their light and warmth a meager defense against the encroaching shadows. These fires were believed to ward off evil spirits and guide the souls of the departed.
They wore costumes, grotesque masks, hoping to blend in with the otherworldly visitors, to avoid their malevolent gaze. These disguises were not just for fun, but a necessary protection. Imagine their fear, their awe, as the flames danced and twisted, casting flickering shapes on the faces of those gathered. The firelight created an eerie atmosphere, heightening their sense of the supernatural. Every creak of a branch, every rustle in the undergrowth, a potential harbinger of something uncanny. The night was alive with sounds that hinted at unseen presences.
They told stories, too. Tales whispered around the firelight, of heroes battling monstrous creatures, of ancient gods and spirits, and of the thin line separating the living from the dead. Stories of mortals who strayed too close to the other world and paid the price. These tales served as both entertainment and caution, reminding them that the line between this world and the next was perilously thin. And in the darkness, just beyond the reach of the firelight, something watches, waiting. The unseen world, always present, always watching, ready to awaken at any moment.
Centuries passed. The Roman Empire rose and fell, its legions marching over the Celtic lands, bringing with them their own gods and their own fears. But Samhain endured. It lingered in the shadows, a folk memory passed down through generations.
The Christians arrived, bringing with them their faith and their determination to stamp out pagan rituals. They tried to absorb Samhain, to sanitize it, to transform it into a holy day. They called it All Hallows Eve, All Saints' Day, a time to honor the dead. But the old fears remained, the ancient knowledge passed down in whispers and hushed tones, never truly died. The veil may have been patched, but it could still be lifted. The dead, it seemed, could not be so easily ignored.
The Church, in its wisdom, declared November 1st All Saints' Day, a day of reverence and solemnity, a day to celebrate the holy men and women who had found their reward in heaven, basking in eternal glory.
But the old ways persisted, deeply rooted in the hearts and minds of the people. The night before the Eve of All Saints remained a time of unease, of superstition, and of ancient rituals. Some say Pope Gregory IV in the 9th century officially recognized All Hallows Eve, hoping to give the pagan festival a Christian veneer, blending the sacred with the secular. Others claim he simply moved an existing feast day. attempting to overlay a sacred celebration over a profane one, merging traditions. Whatever the truth, the fusion was complete, creating a tapestry of beliefs and customs. Samhain, All Hallows Eve, Halloween. These names echoed through time, each carrying its own weight and significance. The names changed, but the essence remained. A blend of reverence and fear, of celebration and caution. A night when the veil thinned, when the dead stirred and the living felt a shiver of primal fear. A connection to the unknown. And still in the shadows, something watches, waiting, a reminder of the ancient past, ever present in the modern world.
The immigrants came to America, fleeing famine, poverty, persecution. They brought with them their hopes, their dreams, and their fears. They brought Halloween too.
In the New World, Halloween traditions took root, blending with existing folklore and superstitions. The vast, untamed wilderness, the whispers of Native American legends, only served to amplify the unease that clung to the night.
Imagine those early settlers, huddled in their rough-hewn cabins as the wind howled outside. The vast, dark forests, pressing close, filled with unknown dangers. The stories they told, passed down from their ancestors, must have seemed all too real in this strange and unforgiving land, for the shadows followed, they always follow. Halloween in America, a time for children to dress up in costumes, to go door to door demanding treats, a time for jack-o'-lanterns to grin from porches, their flickering candlelight casting eerie shadows. A harmless celebration, some might say.
But look closer, listen to the whispers of the wind, feel the chill down your spine as the sun sets and darkness descends. The ancient fears haven't vanished, they've simply been disguised, hidden beneath a veneer of playful fright.
For Halloween is more than just a holiday, it's a reminder that the veil is thin, that the dead are never truly gone, and that some things are best left undisturbed. But some things, once awakened, cannot be put back to sleep. We carve faces into pumpkins, illuminating them from within. Jack-o'-lanterns we call them, a whimsical name for a practice with unsettling roots. They are meant to ward off evil, to protect us from the things that lurk in the darkness.
But what if it's the opposite? What if those flickering lights, those grotesque smiles, are not repelling the darkness but attracting it? Beacons in the night guiding lost souls to our doorsteps. Think about it.
The next time you see a jack-o'-lantern, its hollow eyes staring back at you, ask yourself, is it guarding you or calling to something beyond your sight? The answer may chill you to the bone.
We dress up in costumes, disguising ourselves as creatures of myth and legend. Ghosts, goblins, vampires, werewolves.
We think we're playing pretend, that it's all in good fun. But are we really? Or are we tapping into something primal, something buried deep within our subconscious? A need to confront our fears, to mock them, to make them seem less real by embodying them ourselves.
And what if in doing so, we're inadvertently blurring the lines, making ourselves targets for the very things we seek to keep at bay?
The next time you put on a mask, consider, are you hiding from the darkness or inviting it in? The tradition of trick-or-treating. Children dressed in their costumes, going door to door, demanding sweets with a playful trick or treat.
A harmless custom, we tell ourselves. But isn't there something unsettling about it? A veiled threat, a bargain struck between the living and the unseen?
We offer treats, appeasement to keep the darkness at bay. But for how long? What happens when the treats run out? When the demands are not met? What mischief, what malice might be unleashed?
The shadows deepen. The wind whispers. A chill runs down your spine.
We celebrate Halloween with parties, with costumes, with spooky decorations and scary movies. We tell ourselves it's all in good fun, a harmless way to indulge our fascination with the macabre. But beneath the surface, a current of unease remains.
A primal fear of the dark, of the unknown, of the things that go bump in the night. We may laugh and joke, but deep down we remember. Halloween is more than just a holiday. It's a reminder of our own mortality, of the thin veil that separates us from the other side.
It's a time when the ancient fears resurface, when the shadows seem to lengthen, and the boundary between this world and the next becomes blurred. And in the darkness, something smiles. As the night deepens and the witching hour approaches, we gather together, seeking comfort in numbers. We tell stories of ghosts and goblins, of haunted houses and things that go bump in the night. We laugh, we scream, we try to convince ourselves that it's all just pretend, but the truth is, we'll never truly know. The veil between worlds is thin tonight, and some things are better left undisturbed. So as you blow out the candles and turn off the lights, as you drift off to sleep with the echoes of spooky tales still ringing in your ears, remember this. The darkness is listening, and it remembers. Happy Halloween.